We're here in Cleveland, Ohio with the champ himself, heavyweight champ Stipe Miocic. Stipe, here we are. Now we're days away from the fight. We talked about it. It was right after it got made. How has the training camp been? How's the anticipation building for this big fight?
I think the anticipation is, it's good, man. It's a super fight, so everyone wants to see. Daniel's an amazing fighter. He's one of the best guys in the world. Of course, he's got to face me. Nothing's gonna change, man. Still when you walk out of the cage, the belt still wrapped around the waist. But camp's been going great. It sucks. Camp sucks because it's hard. But the fight's the fun part, which I love. So it's almost done. Down a little bit, and we're ready to go here in a few days.
How has the timing of this fight been? Because they announced it so long ago, it kind of feels like they need to go to the Ultimate Fighter. Like, has it been tough? Just like the waiting game a little bit, kind of waiting for the fight. Because the Francis fight kind of came about almost on late notice, versus this fight was was kind of months in advance.
Oh, sorry. Oh my hand. You're so strong. No, man. I mean, it's fight. I've taken fights on short notice. This is like it was 2 years ago. This fight was made, but it's been honestly, no. I mean, I've been a lot going on at home. My wife's pregnant, of course, so that's been going great. And we've been doing our thing every day and every week and getting checked out. And, it's getting bigger, and she's getting bigger. Don't tell her I said that. Well, she's gonna see it now. It's on tape, but. It's just, everything, the whole process, and the Ultimate Fighter, and just being a coach and learning how to coach. I'm not really a coach. I'm learning. And so doing that was amazing. It just it was just an amazing experience. The last 7 or 8 months has been great.
How was the Ultimate Fighter? I mean, I know as you said, you're not typically a coach. You need practices and things like that, but you did bring in some coaches. But how was the experience doing the Ultimate Fighter?
The experience is great. I just didn't know what to expect because I'm never a coach. That's why I said, Daniel's a great coach. He's coached before. He knows how to coach. I'm just, I'm learning. I'm still learning. My whole life I've been told what to do. I've been an athlete or a fighter. So I'm getting used to it. I'm getting better at it. I can break film down and see everything out all day, but spitting it out, it's a different story. But now I'm getting used to it. I see what it's all about. Having Mark Montoya, amazing coach, and James Krause and Chris Camozzi and those guys, Dustin, Jacoby, those guys are just amazing and helped me out. John Vellante, which he wasn't really much help though.
How is the stress level? Because I know it's always tougher watching your friends or teammates fight versus yourself necessarily. And I'm assuming you got close to these guys and kind of grew with them and helped them. So I mean, how was it watching them?
Oh yeah, I actually am more nervous for their fights. I listen. My fights are my fights. Whatever happens, happens. But like with them, you can't control what's going to happen. Like my fights, I can control it. If it doesn't go my way, it doesn't go my way. It's life. But with them, you want nothing but the best for them, and you want them to win. And if you want to jump in there and just help them out, but you can't. That's the worst part. That's the second part, which I get more nervous for their fights.
How was it being with Daniel for 6 weeks? I mean, I know you guys get along. You probably busted balls a little bit, but I mean, how was it being around him for 6 weeks, knowing at the end of that, you guys are going to fight each other? I'm sure that's probably a unique experience being that close to a guy you're about to fight.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's business, I mean, I was only but the best for him. Of course, he's got to fight me though, and yeah, whatever, man. It's fight. It's business. Like I said, it's just. So I signed up for it, man. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to fight.
Yeah. Let's talk about this matchup. Coming out of the Francis Ngannou fight, which was such a huge win for you, there was no clear-cut #1 contender in the heavyweight division at that point. So when they came into it, Daniel Cormier, how excited were you for the opportunity to get involved in a real super fight? Because as a heavyweight, I imagine it's a little tougher just because, you can't go up you can't go up a weight class. So how cool was it to get this opportunity?
Oh, it was great. Me and Daniel talked to make sure it was right for both of us. And, it's a super fight. It's what everyone wants to see. That's the big thing now. I just want to make sure it was all right. But I had to make sure it was all right with my wife. They said we're having our first child. She's the one that's doing all the work in the 9 to 10 months here. And so I just wanted to make sure it was okay with her and make sure that I can do this and not interfere with her in any way. Because listen, man, it's not about fighting. It's about my family. It's about what's safe for her and the baby, and make sure that I'll be there as best most I can.
As much as you can reveal, tell me about that conversation you had with DC. Zia told me he called you kind of just to make sure, you guys are both on the same page, make sure you guys are both getting paid. I mean,
exactly what you're saying, honestly. It's literally exactly what you're saying. Just both on the same page. That's it, and we're both on the same page, so we're ready to go. Have some fun.
Would you say you were happy with the financial situation going into this fight?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I have a great management team that took care of that. I didn't really have nothing to do with that, and I'm happy with the team we got. Jim Walter is an amazing manager, and Anna who helps us out there too, and just we have a lot of good people on our court.
Yeah. Let's talk about the matchup itself. Daniel Cormier has fought at heavyweight before. I want to get your impression of what you saw from him at heavyweight, because obviously what he did at light heavyweight counts, but what he did against Antonio Bigfoot Silva, what he did against Frank Mir, what he did against Josh Barnett. What have you thought of DC as a heavyweight?
Oh, I think DC's an amazing fighter. I mean, heavyweight or light heavyweight, he's fought the best guys in the world, and he's beat the best guys in the world. He's fought amazing fighters, top guys. So, I know he's going to bring it July 7th, but like I said, he hasn't fought anything like me. He has never seen anything like me yet, and he'll find out.
Do you think his level of competition at heavyweight has been as good as what you faced at heavyweight? And that's not an insult to Frank Mir or those guys, but
I think so. I mean, he's definitely, he's fought some very tough guys, some of the top veterans like I have, listen, July 7th has been amazing. It's been fireworks,
Everyone talks about, DC's pressure in wrestling. That's a big part of his game plan, pushing forward, and then obviously he's got Olympic style, Olympic level wrestling. I think a lot of people discount your wrestling going up against his. I know it's not a wrestling match, but I mean, you were a Division I college wrestler yourself. How do you feel in that aspect of the game in terms of his clinch work and your clinch work, your wrestling versus his wrestling?
We'll find out July 7th. Should be interesting, right? We have a good game plan. I'm excited. I just wish the fight was here already.
How, when you talk about being a heavyweight versus a light heavyweight, you talk about there being levels to this game, size levels to this game. I know DC has fought at heavyweight before, but do you feel like he's fought a heavyweight like you before?
No, he's never fought a heavyweight like me before, and I know he's going to come ready. I know he is, but he hasn't seen anything like me yet, and he'll find out July 7th. I'm a different breed.
DC has obviously had some very big wins in his career. What has impressed you most about him in terms of him as a fighter, maybe him as a person? Like, what impressed you most about DC?
Well, I think he's just, his tenacity. He comes out, he comes swinging, he goes for broke, he doesn't give in. That's what I love about him. He's a tough fighter, and he brings it every time. That's what fans want.
You've faced everyone the UFC has put in front of you. There was a lot of talk about the Francis fight being such a big fight, obviously a big challenge. You ended up dominating that fight. Where does DC rank in the terms of like guys you've gotten up for, guys you've gotten excited to fight? Is he at the top? Is he
every fight, that guy's the top. That guy's the biggest fight to get ready for. Every fight he has, the next fight is the biggest fight of your career, no matter what. If it's a title fight, not a title fight, it doesn't matter. Every next fight is the biggest fight.
Is it different preparing for a guy who's going to be a lot shorter than you, probably stockier, but shorter? Like where Francis, you had to get ready for a big, physical, strong puncher. With a guy like DC, you're dealing with a shorter, stockier wrestler type. Do you change a lot? Or?
Yeah, I mean, not change a lot, just technique-wise, strategy-wise. Different guys, And listen, DC hits hard. He's a big boy too. He's going to bring it. And, Francis hits hard too, so everyone hits hard in the heavyweight division, no matter what. So I gotta keep my head on a swivel and watch for the shots, watch for takedowns. I think I'll be all right.
Without giving away game plan, what do you feel like is your biggest advantage over DC? Is it punching power? Is it wrestling? Is it being a true heavyweight? Like, what do you feel like is your biggest advantage?
I mean, I think I have a lot of advantages. Height, speed, athleticism. But he's got his own in his right. He's amazing. He got a lot of good things too. So I got definitely a lot of advantages, and I'm going to expose his disadvantages and make his advantages weaker.
You're the longest reigning heavyweight champion in UFC history.
Yeah, nothing's going to change.
But in so many ways, it always feels like you're still an underdog. Whether it's the press, whether it's Dana, whether it's rankings, whatever the case may be. Do you feel like you're being underrated once again?
Yeah, I'm used to it, man. Listen, everyone talks about DC being undefeated heavyweight. One guy that lost to John Jones. Guess what? He's going to lose to me too. So nothing against DC, but at the end of the day, I'm not giving this thing up. I sacrifice way too hard. It's not just me though. It's my family, my wife, my mom, my friends, my coaches. They have put so much time and effort into me too, make me have this dream come true. Why am I give it up? I ain't giving this up.
You've been heavyweight champion for a while now. What's the best part about being a UFC heavyweight champion?
Good question. That's a great question. I don't know. I just being a champ. Getting your goal. Something I was striving for so long, and I got it finally. Just being there. Just having that fulfilling, being satisfied. I'm not satisfied yet, but just getting where I needed to be. Now I just keep it going. I love it.
There's all the talk about pound-for-pound rankings in the sport, but I think when I came up here in January, about just being the baddest man on the planet, there's something about the heavyweight division and that all the pound-for-pound rankings, all that kind of chatter. Is it special knowing that you are the baddest man on the planet? Weight classes aside, pound-for-pound rankings aside, that's got to be special being the heavyweight champion.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I said though, it's just something someone said, you know, just like a thing that goes with you, you know. And I think, you know, it's cool, but listen, I'm here to win. I like winning, and I'm not gonna lose.
When you talk about, you know, challenges, but your ultimate goal is to provide for your family. You got a daughter on the way. It's a daughter, right? Yep. You got a daughter on the way. Baby's gonna be born soon after the fight. That's your primary goal, providing for your family.
This means nothing.
Is it better to have a fight like this that's bigger? I mean, let's be honest. There's going to be more attention paid to this fight because it's a super fight. You're probably going to get paid more on the back end, pay-per-view, things like that. Is that always better for you in terms of magnitude, just knowing that you're going to be able to take care of your family in a better way because there's so much hype around the fight?
100%. I'm here to, you know, it's all I care about is just taking care of my daughter, you know, and my wife. Make sure that they take care of, you know, it's the life I chose. You know, I'm also a fireman, also. I'm a fireman also. But listen, you know, but I love what I do. You know, getting paid is also a bonus, but I love what I do. I love the training aspect. I love the fighting aspect. I love the competition aspect. I love, you know, everything about it. It's amazing, and I don't want to give it up.
How nervous are you about fatherhood? Are you nervous? Are you excited?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely nervous. You know, I want nothing but the best for her. You know, I feel terrible when she goes on dates because you know, she probably won't be dating until she's like 35, so it'll be good.
How is your wife handling everything? I mean, she's got the baby on the way,
she's a champ.
She got a big fight.
She's awesome. She's awesome. She's good. Yeah, I'm very lucky to have her in my life. You know, I feel like John Volante's touching me right now. Is it John Volante? It is John. Ew, you smell so bad. Did you brush your teeth this morning? No, a
little inappropriate groping here.
Right, that's what he does. No, I'm just very lucky to have her in my life. She does so much for me, and she, you know, puts up with a lot, you know, just because of what I do. And you know, I'm doing the best I can for her too. You know, being pregnant, and you know, I want, you know, just make sure she's good to go. And I'm very lucky to have her in my life. She's a very special woman.
Are you able to balance it? You know, you've done the balancing act for a while in terms of your career as a firefighter and obviously your career as a fighter. How do you balance that knowing now you're going to have a family as well? I mean, you've always had a wife, but I mean, in terms of like having a daughter, like, how do you balance those kind of things in terms of making sure you're putting the work in for the fight career, making sure you're not forgetting about your firefighting career, but always having time for your daughter and having time for your wife?
Just my mom, you know, my mom's been, you know, she always does that. She's always busy, but she always finds time for everything, and that's what I do. You know, I love staying busy, you know, but you know, eventually it's going to slow down. It's going to be great. I'm going to enjoy my daughter, you know, enjoy my wife, enjoy my family, and go do fun things.
Every time I come up here and I talk to you, I talk about being the pride of Cleveland. Unfortunately, the Cavaliers had a tough NBA Finals this year. Indians are doing what they're doing. How much pride do you carry in being Cleveland's hometown champ in terms of, you know, carrying that banner for Cleveland? You've always done that, but I know Cleveland's a very proud town, very sports town. How proud are you to be Cleveland's champion?
It's great. You know, I'm just happy to see us something to be proud of. You know, the city's amazing, such loyalty, and just I'm very lucky to have them, you know, as supporters.
I know 100% focus is on Daniel Cormier, so I kind of know the answer I'm going to get, but I'm asking anyway.
Brock Lesnar.
Well, hold on. Let me get to it first. There was a lot of talk going into this fight. I'm sure you saw the tweets the other day, probably, about, you know, John Jones was kind of tweeting at Stipe, at DC, kind of messing with him when they said, if DC wins, is he the GOAT? Is he the greatest of all time? And Jones kind of came back at him and said, really? Like, you know, I beat him twice. I've said for years one of my dream fights would be you and John Jones. Now, here's the question. I know you're focusing on DC, but after this fight, people will say, what about Curtis Blades? What about, you know, this guy, that guy? But would it mean more to you and your legacy to get a guy like a John Jones, like you are with DC, where it's like a super fight, a guy that's never been beaten in a certain weight class? Would that be a fight that you would be interested in?
Yeah, listen, I'll fight anyone, honestly. But like, right now, all I care about is July 7th. That's my main focus. Don't worry about that. After that, then my fight is, you know, taking care of my daughter, making sure she, you know, I raise her right, and then, you know, worry about all that after. But just worry about July 7th right now.
But is there something to be said about, you know, the money fight? That, you know, because this is a way you provide for your family. And you mentioned Brock Lesnar. I know, again, Brock Lesnar's not your focus, but isn't there something to be said about those being bigger fights?
Of course. But like I said, all I care about is July 7th. That's it. Don't worry about that.
What is your schedule going to look like this year? Because, you know, you fought in January. That was very short notice.
It's a good question. I have no idea, honestly. You know, like right now, July 7th, I mean, I know I keep being repetitive, but I'm not worried about how many times I fight anymore. All I care about is July 7th, and after that, we'll figure it out. Definitely taking some time off after this fight, though, to enjoy my family.
Yeah. What is your relationship like with Dana White right now?
Yeah, he's my boss. I mean, what do we do?
How was it being on the show with him for 6 weeks?
Yeah, I didn't see him every day, so it was all good. I mean, he was fine, you know, cordial. Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you too.
No animosity?
Yeah. I have other things to worry about.
I know with the Francis fight, there was so much attention being paid to him. This fight, it feels like you and DC are both getting a lot of attention. Have you felt that? I mean, I know we're just days away now, and obviously you still got to do Embedded, which is the Stipe Miocic show, you know, things like that. But have you felt like the promotion has been better for this fight for you in terms
definitely.
of you?
100%. I mean, the UFC's been doing great. You know, listen, I'm happy. I'm not complaining. Listen, but whatever they want to do, they're going to do. I can't worry about it. I'm here to fight. That's what I do. I'm a fighter. I'm not a promoter.
You can't ever predict how a fight's going to play out. You can look at Francis Ngannou and say, I'm going to beat him in the 3rd round by Kimura. You can't predict that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you kind of play that vision in your head of fighting DC, how do you see this fight playing out, or how do you see yourself getting the win?
You'll find it when I get my hand raised.
Would it mean more to finish DC because of how tough he's been? The only guy that's technically finished him is John Jones. That fight was overturned.
Yeah.
We know the controversy with the drug testing. How much would it mean for you to go out there and knock out Daniel Cormier?
Oh, of course, I'm never going for a knockout, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You know, I'm going for the W. That's all I care about. You know, knockout, submission, decision. I don't really care. I'm getting my hand raised at the end of the night.
You and DC got along really well. This is probably an odd question to ask you before the fight. Would you consider working with DC in the future? Everything goes after this fight. Would you ever work with him?
What do you mean, like work with?
Like have him come in, train with you, things like that. Seems like you guys got along really well.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But right now, because I'm fighting him. After, yeah, we'll see.
Last question. You've had a lot of special moments in your career. Fighting in Cleveland was iconic. Fighting in Brazil, having the title wrapped around your waist. I know it's tough to answer before the fight, but where does this fight stack up in terms of those moments in your career, kind of special moments for you?
I don't know. I don't really think about that until after the fight. I just, just looking at the task at hand right now, worrying about my fight, and looking to get that W, which I will.
And that's all that matters, getting the belt wrapped around your waist.
That's it. It's all you're here, and still heavyweight champ.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, buddy.